What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's ready for a great fucking stream. We are about to interview a fucking beast of an engineer. This guy is multi-platinum, Grammy-nominated. He's worked with so many big artists you can think of, and he has hands on one of the literally most popular songs in the world for this year. It was on the Billboard Hot 100 for 19 weeks. Shaboozey, a bar song, Tipsy. Today we are interviewing Skyler Gibbons, and I am so fucking excited. So I hope you guys are too, but let me say what's up to the chat and everything. It was the bar song by Shaboozey. We'll play it real quick. This one I don't care if I get copyright strikes on, honestly, today. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys some of his work while we get into this. But let me go to YouTube real quick, and we'll get this loaded up. But yeah, let me show you guys one of the songs real quick that he is most known for right now. You guys have definitely heard the song. And if you haven't, then you must live under a rock. So, I'm just saying. But how's everybody doing tonight? I hope you guys are excited. This is going to be a fun-ass live. This is going to be so lit, and we're going to have a lot of good gems dropped. It's going to be great to hear his story, and it's probably going to inspire a lot of you guys because he's young. He's not like, 40, 45 years old, 50 years old in the game with multi-platinum. No, he's young and working hard and building his name right now. He's on the come up, on the rise as one of the top engineers right now. So we have a huge opportunity right now to really get to know him on his journey right now. So this is super dope. But let me play you guys one of the songs that he's most known right now for, and this is the song that kept him, it stayed on the charts for, it was 19 weeks at #1. It beat The Weeknd. It beat every other person that had any other type of rankings, but they didn't think The Weeknd was gonna get knocked off, but this one did it.
Baby born a Birkin. She's been telling me all night long. Gasoline and groceries, the list goes on and on. It's 9 to 5 ain't working. Why the hell do I work so hard? I can't worry about my problems. I can't take them when I'm gone. 1, here comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4.
And you guys know this song had right now there's at 196 million views just for the video. The song alone has been streamed billions of times. So yeah, this song is huge.
Tell them bring another round, we need plenty more. 2 stepping on the table, she don't need.
And see, Skyler is a stereo and Atmos mixing engineer. So you guys are going to learn a lot about Atmos mixing today. We're going to have some really good conversations about that and about the future of the sound of, whether it's going to be a big thing, whether he thinks it's not or if he thinks it is. So I'm gonna have that conversation with him because I've been curious to know, and it's definitely gonna be fun. We got Shy Native in here, we got Apollo, we got Dizzy, we got Max. Who else we got in here, guys? We got Campos. Man, we got a lot of you guys turned in. Packatron, I ain't see you. I'm scrolling up right now so I can see everybody. We got Packatron, we got Flex Q. Let's go, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in early too. We're going to be hopping on the call with him in about, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes, not even. So we're going to be having a great time. Hope you guys are ready for this. Hope you got your questions ready, too, because we are doing a live Q&A at the end for him to answer your guys' questions. So it's not just going to be me talking to him. So make sure you guys got some questions ready. But he's worked with Lil Wayne. Let me read the credits because it's too many for me to remember, bro. I swear. If I were to really memorize his credits, it'd be kind of crazy. But so Skyler has worked with, let me give you the list real quick, guys. Lil Baby, Gunna, Lil Mabu, Kanye, Lil Wayne, 2 Chainz, Tiwa Savage, Snoop Dogg, Tory Lanez, Vanilla Ice, Fivio Foreign, Rick Ross, Money Man, Party Next Door, Pink Sweats, NBA Youngboy, Busta Rhymes, E42 Short, G-Eazy, Scorey, Polo G, I believe, and a couple others. So yeah. And Shaboozey, Shaboozey's I can't even explain. That's the craziest thing ever. This man literally is the Atmos mixer for the song that beats the historic weeks of Hot 100 on the Billboard for #1. What's going on, Red Eye? What's going on, Max? Oh, yeah, Twista. Yep, definitely Twista. He did the whole Atmos mixing for the Overnight Celebrity album. I believe that was the album. So we're going to talk to him all about this stuff, guys. So we're going to have fun with this. This is going to be a great fucking interview. I'm so pumped. I'm just waiting for more people to get in here. We want to get about 15, 20 people in here. And we'll be calling him up real quick. So when I do call him, I'm going to have to call him and put this on Be Right Back. And I want you guys to just chat with each other while we're doing this. And then once I get him on the call, we'll bring it right back into live, and we'll be live with him. So please be patient for that process, just because sometimes the calls don't instantly connect. So you live on TikTok too. So here's my thing. I don't have the opportunity to get it live on my TikTok because I don't have over 1,000 followers, and I didn't really focus on TikTok. I don't know why. I was slacking with that. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I was definitely slacking with the TikTok. But I definitely, the next app that comes out, I am going crazy on. I'm not going to lie to you guys. You guys want to hear a couple more songs that were mixed by Skyler, though? Let me know in the chat right now. We got about 5 minutes till we get till we get on the call with him. So let me know if you guys want to hear some more of the songs that he's mixed. I can play you guys some more of the songs. And here's some of the people that he's worked with. You know, some of the platinums that he has. He has a platinum with Peasy for the song 2 Million Up. He has a platinum with Bar Song by Shaboozey. He has actually multiples of those. Twista, Overnight Celebrity, Slow Jams, and Kamikaze. So he's got quite a few, and those are Atmos mixes too. He has 7.1 billion streams. 7.1 billion streams on songs he's worked with. He is in the top 0.1% of mixing engineers and the top 1% of mastering engineers. This man is a beast. 75 subs and you can get started getting lifted subs. I've never even looked at doing it on Kick, guys. What the hell? I didn't even know Kick had live streams like that. Huge number. 7.1 billion. Crazy. I hope you guys are ready to hear that. These, yeah, exactly. 7.1 B's. B's, guys, not M's. B's. He's worked with Sauce Walker, Peso Peso. He's worked with, I mean, I'm gonna let him go through the list because he's gonna definitely have a whole list to go through. Kick is a fire platform and they have 0 restrictions. Oh shit, I didn't know that. Hey Marco, shout out to Marco for the $1 dono. I appreciate you so much, man. Let's go. Apollo with the 5 gifteds. Let's go, Apollo. W Apollo with the 5 gifteds. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Let's go. It's a beautiful night to do that. I heard you can stream the same videos on multiple streams. Yeah, I can do that too. I just need to set up the whatever it's called. Me and Dizzy were talking about that the other day. We're gonna be doing that. I need to build up my Twitch. All right, guys, let me get this ready, and we'll be right back. I'm going to get him on the call, and we will be getting him in here to chat with you guys soon. So hope you guys are excited. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, everybody. We are back, and we're here with Skyler. Skyler, the engineer. And how's it going, bro? Thank you so much for hopping on the stream with us, man.
Yeah, man, of course.
I'm so excited to be able to chat with you live, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is definitely
long time.
Sorry, your signal's just a little choppy on our side. 1 second, real quick. I just want to make sure. Can you guys hear him clear on the Can you guys hear him clear?
Check. Might need a lot.
You guys can hear him? Okay, sounds good over there? Good. All right, cool. This side is good. So, first of all, man, thank you so much for coming on the stream and blessing us with your time and presence, bro. Like, yeah. I remember when I first moved to Tampa and, like, I was working with the local artists, and I got there in 2020, and everybody's like, dude, like, you're like Skyler. You're like Skyler. I was like, who is Skyler? Who is Skyler? And I looked you up, and I'm like, yo, this dude is dope. And then I'm like, hold on a sec. I see a credit on there that I'm like, I recognize this name, and it was Scorey. And I was like, that's crazy. He's been mixing Scorey, and Scorey's from here in Syracuse. So I was like really intrigued, and I was like, I gotta get in touch with this guy. So I'm glad we got to become friends and everything. And bro, your journey so far from what I've seen to now is insane, and I definitely can't wait to talk to you about this stuff, man. Um,
It's especially.
Hold on one second. Did you guys hear that? It was chopping out on my side.
I think it might.
Do you have AirPods or anything you could put in?
Uh,
'Cause I think what it is the mic on the computer.
yeah. Once.
It's just choppy. Oh wait, you know what it is here? Let me disable this. That's what it is. Let me do that. There we go. That's exactly what it was. I got it. We're good. You guys should be able to hear him clear now.
No problem.
Sorry
It's
about
like-
that, guys. Let me just I had to turn off the auto mute thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the set wire thing.
Yeah, that thing's so annoying sometimes. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right, we are back with him. Okay, so how long have you been engineering, bro? Like, I mean, that's the one thing I've been wanting to know for a long time. How did you even get into it?
I got started when I was like 14 years old. So I was like 15 years ago now. I just started like recording my friends back in high school. They all wanted to do like diss songs and everything. We had Audacity on the computer, and we used to put a little microphone on a cup, like a mason jar.
Damn. So you used Audacity too.
Yeah,
Man, so we both started out in the same program pretty much because that was the first thing I actually recorded on too. So that's crazy. And you,
yeah, that was the thing back then. It was like the only free thing you could get.
oh yeah, and it was free. It looked ugly as hell, but it was free and it was easy to use a little bit.
Oh no, like I'm in and out. Hold on. Let me call back into the second wire.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's fine. Hold on one second, guys. We're gonna swap over real quick. Just wait for him to call us right back, guys. We want to make sure we have the best connection for you guys.
I'm gonna put on AirPods
Yep,
just to
that's
make sure that's not the issue.
That's fine, bro. I appreciate it. All right, so we're going to wait for him to come back, guys. Sorry about that. We just want to make sure we have the best connection for you guys. So just bear with us on this. Yeah, see, it was because it was maybe signal or outdoors noise and stuff like that. But we'll get him right back on here. We'll be good to go. Sorry about that, guys. 1 second. Hold on, let me see. Audio shop the. Yeah, see, I was hoping it wasn't like that, but it's all right. So let me read some of these comments while we do this. Wait for him to call back. Where did I see the comment about the Atmos? We will be good to go. There we go.
Is that better?
Yes, way better. Let me do the undisable. There we go. Now we don't have the gate on. We're good to go.
Perfect.
All right, guys. You guys can hear him better? Let's make sure in the chat.
Once the mic keeps beatboxing.
Bro, this chat be having some jokes. I'm not gonna lie to you. I be having some.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, they be too funny in the chat sometimes. All right, so anyways, like I was saying, man. So you started just like I did with on Audacity, which is funny as hell because that was the most laughed at program. But get the fundamentals down, right? Have fun with your friends, and that's where it all starts. Did you do
Yeah.
band or anything in school? Play any instruments or make any beats or anything like that? Or were you just like strictly like I just want to help record?
I tried, like I wanted to, but I was so involved in sports that like I just couldn't find the time for it. Pretty much what happened was like I was in band, I started playing the trumpet for like 6 months, and then they gave me the option to have gym 2 times a week, and
He's like,
that was the end of that.
Jim, forget that. Nope. That's hilarious. See, I was in band my whole life, so like music was everything to me. I was like, I was anti-sports for a while, but that's so dope. So you went from sports into music after you got out of high school and stuff. Did you go to college for it? For audio
Yeah.
engineering?
Yeah, I did. I kind of figured out that the only way I would be able to like make a career out of it and get into the studios and all that, I would have to like go to some sort of college to get the internships and get into the place that I wanted to be. So I went to a small school in Tennessee called Johnson University, and I got into that.
And you're from Knoxville, right? Knoxville, Tennessee. So,
Yep, I'm from a little small town called Sevierville, right outside of there, where Dolly Parton's from.
oh wow, you same spot from Dolly Parton. That's crazy. That's a historic.
Yeah, there's like a statue of her in her hometown and everything,
That's crazy. That's,
like she's LeBron and shit.
she's got her own brown statue. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Did you go to Nashville a lot growing up and get influenced from the music scene there?
No, I actually really never went to Nashville for any type of music. If anything, I would go to like Atlanta, but I came down to Florida pretty early on. I was like 20 maybe when I moved to Florida.
Okay, okay. And you were already engineering when you came down here after like college?
Yeah, yeah, I was engineering pretty much the whole time. Like I was just trying to figure out different places that I could go that I know I couldn't stay in the city I was in and do like the type of music I wanted to do. So I had to figure something out.
Yeah. Now, do you feel like, so being that you went to school, do you feel that it's more beneficial for engineers to go to school to get the actual knowledge, or is it more of the network, do you think?
Uh, it's a little bit of both. I think that for me, it put me in a position where I had to learn things that I necessarily like didn't want to learn. Like I wasn't super excited to learn how to do like folk music. But
Yeah, I can understand that. That's
now later in life, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm glad that I learned that.
yeah, definitely. Now that you're doing all this country stuff, a lot of that stuff is probably coming in, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Instruments and all that.
Oh yeah. The country stuff is coming in. It's just a mixed bag, especially when it comes to like Dolby. It's just so random
I was gonna
as far
say
as
because
genre.
you're getting a bunch of different projects, and dude, I looked through your credits, and I've been, kind of studying your stuff for a while, and like you've been working with like these, what is it, like hyper pop, techno? I don't even know what to even consider. You have a lot of those style artists, and like I was like, damn, his style ranges. You have a lot of rappers, then you have a lot of those guys, then you have also the Shaboozey. Like, how do you how do you develop an ear and technique so well for each one to have such a polished sound on each one?
I think a lot of it comes from just listening to a bunch of different genres growing up. My dad, like all he listens to is country music. My mom, she kind of dabbles in everything. So I would listen to, you know, Will Smith, and then I would listen to like Creed with her,
Hell yeah.
and then my dad would play Alan Jackson and George Strait and all these like country artists. So it was just so random. And then I found like just a love for like hip hop and rappers and that whole scene. So I expanded my palette that way.
Now, who is your favorite artist, like rapper wise or band wise, of all time?
Of all time, well, Kanye would probably be the one, but he's not really doing too well for himself right now.
Yeah, I don't want to say it, but yeah, his art wise, I respect it. Personality, I could take his personality.
Yeah,
Music wise, I could definitely respect that because he is definitely one of the greats. I was
yeah.
gonna
Back when we were
ask you
younger,
like Biggie and
totally different person.
what were you saying? Sorry, say it again.
Oh no, just like back when we were younger, it was like a totally different person. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah.
he wasn't what he is today.
No, he's off the rocker today. Like he's completely left
Yeah,
field. Don't even understand what that. Yeah, that man is on a whole different level. But back when it was like 808s and heartbreaks and graduation and all the good music, yeah, that was definitely the Kanye I could get with.
yeah, yeah.
Would you
But
say some of your
he was one of the ones. But
what were you saying? Sorry.
there's a lot of influences that I've had, like, but he's probably the one that I always found fascination with, like the mixes and everything.
That's what I was gonna say because that's where I feel like a lot of engineers we listen to a lot of stuff that's clean and we're like, oh, that sounds like a good mix. But then when you listen to Kanye, it's like, what did he do there? How did he do that? Like there was so many things I remember when I was coming up and I was listening to Kanye's albums and I'm like, okay, I want to do something like that. It kind of like made me. So I was wondering, is that the same for you? Because you're a fan, like a huge fan of his.
Yeah, it was kind of like you would listen to his music and it just would be so different. and they would just distort the whole lead vocal, and you're like, why would they do that? But it sounds so good. It's so different from what everybody else is doing, which led me to then appreciate artists like The Weeknd really early. When he first started to release music, that was like one of the artists that I was like trying to put everybody on. I'm like, yo, watch this guy. I remember I had like a history teacher, and he would always play music in high school, and I would be like, yo, you got to watch this guy.
That's so fire. Putting people, yo, bro, I did the same thing with Wiz Khalifa, and it was crazy. But that's so fire. Putting your teacher on the music, that's the best.
Yeah.
That's how you know you got some vibey teachers, though. You know, the ones that are actually like still chilling. They'll listen to the playlist that you give them. That's fire.
Yeah, no, he was cool. I would go sleep in his class all the time.
My physics teacher was the same way. Super chill. He would cuss us out. I'm like, bro, you're a teacher. He's like, I don't give a shit. Like, okay, shit, you're cool as hell.
Yep.
Now you've worked with some pretty big names. In some are just mixing, I know, and then other ones you've been in the studio with actually recording. But like, what was the one that made you the most like starstruck or like nervous in the studio? Like, oh my god, this person is in the studio with me right now. Like,
Uh, I remember my first recording session at Clear Track Solo was Dougie Fresh, and I was like, I don't know, it hit me different because I studied all of that music, like all the old hip hop and everything, Sugar Hill Gang, like all the way up, KRS-One, everything. Um,
that. See, guys,
so
he said
that was something that I was just like, ugh.
he said he studied that. See, guys, he went back and studied it. A true student of the game. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, you always got to be studying now.
Hell yeah. So
Yeah, you got to know your roots,
facts, man. So you worked with
especially if you want to go into doing hip hop.
facts. So you worked with Dougie Fresh on your first solo recording in Clear Track, which for the people that don't know, Clear Track Studios is like one of the biggest studios in like Clearwater, Tampa area, and they have like
Hmm.
SSL boards. They got all the big gear. They actually bought one of the SSL boards that I think Dre worked on. Right, it was the one that Chronic.
Yeah, look at this. I don't know if y'all can see it that well, but
That's his.
that's that board right there. You can kind of see the fader there.
That's so you got you got that tattooed from a picture of the actual. That's
Yeah, I took the picture of the board and then found somebody that could do realism pretty well.
that is dope, bro. And so
Yeah,
your first session, you were saying you were in the session with Dougie Fresh alone, no interns, no help, no nothing, just you,
just me and Dougie, and I'm like, that was my first time meeting him too, and I'm already a fan, so I'm like, I don't know, I was geeking out.
bro.
Uh,
And sitting there like, bro, I would have been asking him so many questions about the history of like how did you guys even make records the way you did? Like,
Man, I was too nervous to do anything but record the man.
man, that's so dope, though. That's so dope, Dougie Fresh. Now, all right,
Outside of that, Twista was that was one that really got me nervous too, because
Twist.
that was one of my favorite records growing up.
I was gonna ask if you actually got to work in the studio with Twista on the when you did that was for the Atmos.
It was at first. I did the Atmos for Wetter just off of the strength of like his manager. Like he hooked that up, and then they brought me out to Chicago to fix up his studio. He had a studio not too far from his house, and they would just they hadn't updated in like 10 years.
Mm.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna come in there. We're gonna put some like updated gear. Um, we had the U87 for him to answer that one. Brought an Apollo in there because they weren't using the Digi Design board anymore that they had.
Oh yeah,
It was the Control 24.
yeah, the control. I was gonna
Yeah,
say was it the Pro Controller or
yeah,
Control 24 because I know both of them
yeah,
cut off. Then they brought the C24 back, and I was like,
yeah, yeah. So I picked him up with that and made it a lot more simple for him to record. To record. But for me, it was like ended up cutting like a verse for Absol record that day, and I was just like, I don't know. The kid in me was like, if you could see what we're doing right now, because I was the kid like growing up, I would always be like, Twista's top five, like he's top five. I don't care what nobody say.
bro, that's how I'm about Nelly, and I say I will defend him
Yeah,
today.
no, Nelly's got hits, bro.
Exactly. Nelly's a person who took like 10 years off, then came back with a song and was like number one for like weeks. And so it was like, yeah, the man's a hit
Hmm.
maker, you know, but like Lyricism rap wise, I wouldn't say like he's a lyricist, but he's definitely in my top 5 rappers. But
Yeah.
that's so dope, man. So let me ask this: was Twista a punching artist?
He could do it all in one take if he wanted to. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Because I always believed that he would be like a punching artist because it's so fast.
That's what I was.
But bro, the guy has been doing it so long. He is just so skilled with it. That's one thing that I took away from it. I was just like, man, this guy really is like that,
That's crazy. Like,
which made me more nervous.
yeah, I was gonna say, bro, like, you got to be really on your shit. Like, that's so. I was gonna say, if he is a punching artist, you even got to be faster because I already know you're super fast. Like, that's one thing I've heard about you from the day I started working in Tampa. Was like, bro, Skyler's fast as hell, and I'm like, talking to people like, no, bro, he's fast as hell. And I watched a video of it, and I was like, yeah, he's fast. I was like, oh shit. Not gonna lie, bro. Seeing that video made me step my shortcut game up. I'm not even gonna kid you. Like I was good with shortcuts,
Yeah,
but after I seen you like literally not even move your right hand off the mouse and you're moving, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me learn the rest of these shortcuts because I need to be that fast. And you made
yeah.
my game for that, bro. Not gonna lie.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was like kind of learning to record fast. I used to have like friends that would come with me to the studio, and I would literally tell them, I would be like, "Yo, make me go fast. Like you have to like pressure me
Yes, 100.
because I want that pressure. I want you to look at me and be like, "Yo, you're not going fast enough. Why are you being slow right now?"
Bro, Cheeks will, Cheeks boss man. He will literally,
Yeah,
come on. I'm like, bro,
yeah, yeah,
he's, come on,
yeah.
let's go, come on. I'm like, bro, I'm going.
Well, he's used to being around Young Thug, and that's how they are.
The computer's tripping a little bit. I can't do that. I can't help out the fact that the computer's tripping. Like, but not
Yep.
definitely, bro. That is definitely the truth. Getting pressured, guys, to the chat, guys. If you're an engineer, the pressure actually builds your characteristic and your skills a lot faster. Because if you're just sitting there doing this stuff here and there, you learn it, but you learn it way more in time. Where if you have that pressure in front of you or behind you, watching what you're doing, that's a whole different level. Having mixing while somebody's standing behind you versus mixing at home, right?
Yep. It's a totally different world.
Yeah, you're flying through plugins and you're that's what I try to tell people all the time, man. So what's the wildest studio session you've been a part of? Like no names need or anything, just like what was the most chaos that ever happened?
Oh, well, funny enough, I actually just recorded this guy this week. He came out here to Hawaii and we did a session over at his room. And you know, to go back to the crazy story, at Clear Check, we were doing a session. He ended up having like a whole pot brownie, a whole bottle like of Sailor Jerry's rum. Like he was off it, right?
Fucked up.
About halfway through the session, he comes in the control room and we're like working on the song. And it's funny you talking about the speed and everything. He said he was looking at my hands. It caused him to throw up. He threw up all over the cloth wall, bro.
Oh,
Shout out to Trey.
no.
Shout out Trey if you see this. We were just laughing about this the other day.
Yo, no, all over the cloth.
Yep.
And if you guys know
Oh yeah.
studios that have the cloth walls, they have to take that off it's like built onto the wall. It's not just like a panel like we
Creative juices flowing.
crazy.
Oh my god. I was so tight, bro, because I had to clean that up.
Bro,
And then we kept doing the session. Like we still had like 2 hours left. So I was just like, oh my god, what am I doing with my life?
oh my god. I've had nobody throw up in the booth or in the room. I've had somebody throw up in the lobby and ruin the bathroom before, but man, throwing up on the actual like fabric wall. Oh my goodness, no. Wow.
Thankfully, no stains. Surprisingly, I thought there was going to be a stain.
Well, hopefully it was just all fluids and no chunks. Oh my goodness.
I blocked that memory. I don't remember.
Telling. Let's talk about a good memory now, though. So, congrats, bro, on the Grammy nomination this year. And I got a question for you, bro. Where were you when you found out, and like, how did it feel? Like, what was your actual reaction like? Were you like jumping around? Were you like shocked? Did you faint? Like, because I would have fainted. I would have been like on the floor.
I want to say that's what it was, man. But to be honest with you, it was just kind of like one of those things. Like you get there, and then you expect to feel a certain way,
Ooh.
And you don't feel any different.
Damn, that's deep.
Like I'm just like, yeah, that's what's up. Like it happened, on to the next thing.
Hey,
You know,
but that's
work's not done.
successful. I personally, I think that's why you're so successful because you're so humble and like I've met some engineers that have accolades like you, and they're like, "Psst, get the fuck away from me. Don't talk to me." Like, I don't know why, because usually the engineer world is really, really chill. But
Yeah.
there have been a few that I've met, and especially the younger ones. So like, being that when I first like approached you, I was like, man, like now I don't know, I don't want to tell the whole story, the whole weird side of the story or anything, but um, I worked at a, I would say, competition studio to what he worked at before we actually met, and I don't know if it was a company thing where the owner was making everybody block studios, or if it was just our studio. But our studio was not able to really see anybody's things, and then finally, when Skyler became a free agent, I could finally see his stuff, and I linked up with him after that, and we became, you know, friends through that. But ever since then, he's been a super humble person, and I gotta say, I think that's one huge part that I've notice with every successful person is they're not cocky, they're not arrogant, they're not, you know, just boasting. They're really, really, really chill and just down to earth, and they don't take everything for granted. So that's super dope, man. I gotta say, but still, congrats on the Grammy nomination, dog. Like,
Thanks, man. No, it's a big deal. I understand it. I just don't, you know, because there's a lot of people in this chat that, you know, they might not realize that the mountaintop is always growing.
oh yeah, definitely, man, and
You know what I mean?
100%, dude. And
That's why I'm glad we didn't win,
see that point
because I got something to keep working.
of view.
I got something to keep working towards. You know, that's one way to take that.
So with that Grammy nomination, it puts you at a new level of expectations and stuff. Do you feel more pressure now from the work that you get or what you're doing as an engineer, or do you just kind of feel it's like you're still on that road you were on, just still pushing forward?
Yeah, I mean, I still feel the same. Like I don't really feel like too different. I think if anything, now it's just allowed me to have more control over other parts of my life, um, as far as like my health and you know just being active.
I was gonna say I've seen that you were posting a lot more in the gym. You were getting active again, and I gotta say as an
Yeah,
engineer, I gotta thank the fact that I have a fast metabolism because I feel like if I didn't, I would definitely be.
yeah, you got like, the skinny metabolism.
Yeah, but like if, I gotta say, like if I gotta run a mile, I'm doomed. You know, 'cause my ass is in
Yeah,
the chair 90% of my time. So I definitely agree with you with that, man. I'm definitely this year. I'm trying to take myself up and be more healthy. My boy Campos is gonna definitely be on my ass more about that this year. But that's dope, man.
yeah, it's hard, but it's so important, man. That's one thing that you should take from this. I lost 70 pounds, bro, just from not being like in the chair at the studio in that environment. Uh, so you know, it's totally possible. You just sometimes you're in a predicament that doesn't allow you to do what you need to do.
I was just gonna ask you that because I feel like as we're coming up as engineers, you know, we feel this demand to be in the studio all the time because it's like you hear that grind, grind, grind. You can't miss opportunities. You got to be in the studio. You got to sleep in the studio. You got to live in the studio, and like that's what the I feel like it's true and it's toxic at the same time. You feel me? Like my journey, I didn't have the education background, but I started out in a studio that was just a small hood studio, and I slept in that studio 5 nights a week to get good at what I was getting good at, just vocal recording,
Mhm.
getting good with the system and everything. And so, me learning that, and I see other engineers with that mindset, and it's like, do you feel that that's the truth, or do you feel like people can kind of take more of a limited time approach and still achieve great things with this career?
I think it depends on where you're at. If you're just starting out, like you have to be there all the time. You got to get your foot in the door. That's something that I kept in mind, even in those times when I'm like, I know I'm like tripping with my health right now. Like I know that I'm playing with fire. It's something I'm gonna work towards to where I can free myself up enough to get back right. You know.
Yeah, and that's a great point, man. Because when I started out, it was I didn't care if I was sick. I didn't care if my ears were clogged. It was gonna take away from the quality of what I just wanted to be in there working, you know. And it was just like
Hmm.
it became a habit, you know. And it became like kind of like this addiction of being in the studio and that creative process.
Yeah.
Did you ever go through a phase where you were like, people were asking you like, man, when are you gonna come hang around? When are you gonna come see us? You know, family, friends, stuff like that. Did you ever go through that process?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I was doing, you know, 70 hours booked in the studio and then mixing at home. So I would do
Damn.
my recording at the studio, 70 hours, go home, mix for whatever project it is that I'm working on for another, who knows how long.
That's insane.
So it was a very intense point in life that I do not miss.
Yeah.
But it builds character and,
The
all
skill
the
level
things.
that you have too.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with you, and that's dope, man. That's super dope to hear because it's kind of confirming sometimes when you have other people. There might be other engineers in the chat right now, or other people that are like in this journey right now.
Mhm.
They're like, man, all I'm doing for the past 6 months has been at this studio and doing this. And I know at first, like, I didn't always see the progress, and sometimes when I would learn new stuff, my progress would feel like it went back down because I'd have to learn how to apply those new things properly into my mixes or into my recordings, and that can get challenging. So it's dope hearing that from another engineer. Um, and a lot of people see the glory behind a Grammy nod, even just the nomination, but they don't see the grind behind it. What's something about reaching this level that nobody talks about really? Like, what is something that really helped you reach this level besides putting in all the hours? Because I feel like that's one thing people focus on is I've spent so many hours doing this, but I still haven't accomplished this.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with being available, always. So many times, even with Scorey, right? I remember I was in Mexico on vacation, and one of Scorey's A&R sets me up. They're like, "Hey, we need this file. Well, like right now, we can't find it." Thank God I had it in Dropbox. I literally had to run like 3 blocks over to like some Starbucks in this crazy part of Mexico to just get Wi-Fi to be able to send out this file. So just being able to like always be on point, like keep yourself in check. Don't ever feel like you can't really take breaks in this.
Mm-hmm.
You can just make yourself mobile enough to be available.
Mm-hmm. 100%. So that means you always have a laptop on you, a hard drive on you, and you're ready to go.
Every time, bro. Every time. I had to do like a whole like revisions on some Dolby mixes in Peru.
Damn.
And then we had a hike the next day. I got 1 hour of sleep. But that's what it comes with. If you're getting into this life, bro, that's what it comes with.
I would have been like, I'm good on the hike, guys. Sorry. I'll catch up later. Speaking of Dolby Atmos, so most people think you got to mix in this big Atmos room and stuff. Do you mix in the big Dolby Atmos rooms all the time?
Not all the time.
But
it's just not really doable. I have a rig that I bought that's a whole 714 system that I have. It's mobile, so I can take it down, put it back up, and then
set up for the Atmos. Is it like a
yeah thing? Sort of. I just do it with mic stands.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just put my tops like that.
The iLouds?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I did a bar song on those.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. You hear that, guys? He's using, now they're not cheap, but they're not also like $5,000 monitors that he's doing it with. And they're small monitors. They're literally about this big. Like, no joke, they're about the size of my face. And do you use a subwoofer with those?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say because the bass, they don't handle bass at all. These things clip out so easy with bass. But I definitely that's really dope to hear that because I've seen people doing it with Cali audio monitors because they're not that expensive. And
yeah, I have a friend building a room like that right now with the Calis.
Is he using the 5s or what size is he using?
I think he's probably using the 5s.
I was gonna say because I've seen a lot of people using the 5s because they're cheaper and it's just now you don't need a lot of volume. How does it work really? Like I'm curious about this. Is it the same? Does it feel the same as like monitoring stereo loudness, or is it feel different?
The feel is definitely different because you're getting sound from all over you rather than just like right in front of you. But a lot of what Dolby is you're not really trying to stray too far away from what was already done. You're just trying to create more of an experience rather than like reinventing the wheel.
Right. So you're not going to be making the vocal just bounce around all over the place and just do weird stuff like that, even though you can.
Unless it's something they want,
right.
But
does that happen?
Most of the time, yeah, that would be something that would be more appropriate for it rather than like a lead.
percussion and stuff
Uh,
like that too.
yeah, but the book is like continually being written, so there's not really there's no rules to it yet.
That's super dope.
There's some people that will try to convince you that there's rules, but there's really no rules.
That's super dope. And you're one of the first like I would say I don't even know how many engineers are doing Atmos, but I don't hear of many like actually getting as many credits for it. Like you have a lot of Atmos credits.
Yeah, yeah. I've developed a really good relationship with Empire, and I've just been doing it since it first came out. I found out about it early and just told myself as soon as this is available for me to be able to like pursue, I'm gonna go all in.
That's super dope. Now you learned it through engineers, right?
I did the course on there, but about a year before that, I had to start learning it because I had a friend call me and they're like, "Hey, can you do Dolby?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I didn't know how to do it.
See, guys, bro, that is so amazing because how I got my first studio job. The guy said, "Hey, bro, do you know Pro
Yeah.
Tools?" I said, "Yeah, I've only been recording in FL Studio and Cubase before." So, like, this is back 2009, and I was like, "Yeah, I know Pro Tools." As soon as I got off the phone with him, I hang up and I go into torrents and I downloaded Pro Tools. It wouldn't work because I didn't have the interface, so I had to find the so I found the M-powered one and I downloaded that. 15 minutes into me using it, he calls me back. "Hey, bro, you actually want to come to the studio tonight?" Because he was going to pick me up the next day. So I was like, "Oh, I have all night to learn it." Man, he called me. He's like, you want to come over like to the studio now? I'll send my brother over to come get you." 20 minutes later, they come get me. And, bro, I walked in the studio. They had an Avalon and they had Pro Tools. And I was like, oh, boy. But, hey, I pushed. I just kept pushing. So, like I tell everybody, man, sometimes you got to hop in that hot seat. You got to say yes
Yeah.
and learn it on the way. You got to jump off the cliff and learn how to fly on the way down. That's just sometimes
The hot seat's got to be your favorite seat.
100%, 100%, bro. I tell my interns that all the time. I'm like, listen, when you get in the hot, like, I usually give them like 15 minutes after about a month of them like really showing me they know what they're doing, and I'll give them 15 minutes on a paid session just to see, okay, and it's one of my good clients and stuff like that. But I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna step out the room for 15 minutes. If that artist even mentioned, yo, get back in here, you got a whole nother time to wait until you get back in the hot seat. But you better love being in the hot seat when you are, because you're gonna learn a lot. You're gonna grow a lot. You don't learn a lot
Yeah.
on the sides.
But it's not just about being in those positions. Like it's a lot about preparation too. So even though I didn't know how to do it, I was like, I'm gonna do the appropriate amount of research to make sure that I get it done and get it done the right way. Um, so you know,
Now, when you
can't take away from that.
yeah, no, definitely, you can't take away from preparation at all. And when you first heard of Atmos, like, I mean, Atmos wasn't even something I heard of for probably like until about 2 years ago.
Mhm.
When you first heard of it, like, where were you finding information? Because I know it really wasn't easy to find at first.
That was the hardest part. I learned about it when I went and did a session at Capitol Studios in LA
Mm.
at the little Capitol building.
Mhm.
I was doing some sessions down there. I got cool with the guy that was like the assistant for the room. He works there, so he was like, "Yo, you want to go like see all the other rooms?"
That's
So he goes and shows me all the other rooms. We walk into this one room, and Al Schmidt is at the board. Some of the engineer nerds are gonna know that name.
God.
This like legendary engineer sitting there working on this, but he's got like all these speakers all around him, and I'm like, what is this? Like, why? What are you guys doing in here? And he's like, oh, it's Dolby Atmos for music. You'll learn about it in a couple years. You know?
Damn, so they were way ahead.
Yeah, because they pretty much like they were inventing the way that it was being done for music. Because it had been done in film for a long time, but for music, it was a new thing. So that's when it clicked. I was like, as soon as this is like something that is on DSPs and ready to like be learned, I'm gonna go all in.
That's great, man. You guys hearing that? The biggest thing is to stay ahead of things that are going on, pay attention. But his relationships, you guys hear that? They walked him into Al Schmidt. Like, you what? That's insane, bro. I would be like, am I seeing? Like,
Yeah, it was crazy.
I'd feel like I'm in the presence of a god right there. I'm like, what? That's just you see my face as soon as you said it. Like, what? That's crazy, bro. Man, that's got to be a blessing to be in front of people like that. Now, what's the craziest studio you've been in? Because I know you've been in a bunch of them, so you've been all over different places. What would you say your
Uh,
craziest studio, like gear wise, even like insanity of gear.
I mean, it's hard to beat Capitol because like all the history. Like when I was there, I got to use the Fairchild that Frank Sinatra used,
Damn.
like the one that he actually like for real on a lot of the songs. And I'd say there's three that come to mind. That one, the Palms in Vegas. It's in one of the casinos on the second floor.
There's a
Michael Jackson used to record there.
in the casino.
Yeah, yep. It's on the second floor.
Oh, what? That is.
I think it might be closed down now, or maybe it's private, but it had two rooms. It was like the limited budget. Like it had everything you could ever imagine. But Michael Jackson used to come down this separate elevator. It was like a private elevator that went directly into the booth of Studio B. Like no, you don't see nobody. You just go in the elevator, go to the booth, go back to your hotel room.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is.
And then the third one would be this spot right here, Island Sound out here in Hawaii.
Okay.
Kanye did 808 Heartbreak here at that studio. He did Dark Twista Dynasty. Eminem did Recovery, I believe, and then part of Relapse, I think.
That's insane, bro. Those are legendary places. You guys hearing this? The legendary places he's been with, the gear that he's been able to use, that other people have been able to use. Man, that's amazing.
Yep. The whole street.
That's insane, bro. So let's talk about your record-breaking song that you were part of. 19 weeks, bro. I mean, I said to you 25. I was like, I'm calling 20. I said that. I was like, bro, I'm calling it. But you guys made it to 19, and it dropped down after 19, or is it still sitting there?
It's still it's like on the top 10, but it's just not number one anymore.
Not number one anymore, right? But still, how do you feel like being a part of something that made history, like really made music history?
I mean, honestly, it just doesn't even feel real. It's on Oahu. To answer that real quick. It was kind of like something that just came randomly, but it was also a relationship thing. Like it was a string of relationships that happened over about 10 years. So I used to record this rapper called GT from Detroit. Some of you guys may have heard of him. He's like around PZ and like, Rio and all those guys. But I used to record him in Tennessee. 5-6 years later, he introduces me to PZ. I do some stuff for PZ. I did the Atmos for 2 Million Up for PZ. Then through him, I meet his A&R who works at Empire. He introduces me to his A&R that then eventually turns into doing a bar song.
That's crazy.
And it was one of those songs where, like, nobody really, like, we knew it was a great song. Like, it's obviously what you hear and you're like, yeah, this is a great record, but nobody knew that it was going to be like that big of a hit, except for maybe the A&R. He was like, I still have the text from him that's like, "It's going to be a hit, a big one."
Is that his name?
Yeah. Shout out Sock, man. Definitely changed my life.
Super dope, man. That was what's crazy is you answered my other question. I was just gonna ask, like, did you know or have a feeling like, bro, this is gonna be so big? But you already said you had no idea. You had a feeling it was gonna do good, but not that good. That's got to be fucking amazing, bro. Now
it was totally unexpected.
Yeah, now when you get these like say for instance it hits another platinum, do you get like an email or a message from like the label or like RIAA? How does that usually work?
Usually like it can have all the sales and everything and then like not show up on their site right away. So it just kind of depends like how you hear about it. Sometimes I'll just see them post like the actual physical plaque that they already bought that isn't even technically certified through RIAA. But you just got to kind of like look at the site pretty much.
Okay.
Or they'll send you a text and be like, "Oh, we're gold."
Now, how long did that Shaboozey record take you to actually do the Atmos mix for?
That one took quite some time actually, because I think everybody knew it was such an important song. So everyone was like careful with like how it sounded, especially the Atmos too, because it just had so many elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we did about 4 versions of it, and then I don't know. I feel like all in it was probably like 5 hours maybe.
Okay. It's not too bad. I was thinking like 10 for it at least. I was thinking double that, but that's not
Yeah.
bad for an Atmos mix.
No, thankfully Raul, the guy who did the stereo, uh, great mixer. Hung out with him a couple of times. Super cool guy. He printed the right way for the stems, so we didn't have to like fight too hard to get that feel of the stereo. We could focus more on the creative.
That's super dope, man. And is it harder going from doing stereo mixes to doing like all that immersive stuff and like having to pay attention? Do you think it's harder or more time consuming, or do you just kind of have to do the balancing and like placements? Because you're not doing all the
It
effects,
can be a.
right?
It depends. It depends what you get. Like that's the thing about it is you never know what you're going to be dealing with until you get the song,
Ooh,
and usually you're like the very last step, so you don't have a lot of time.
damn, that sounds
So
difficult.
you know, yeah, it can be a balancing act. Like you obviously don't want to sound too different from the stereo, but sometimes they just don't give you everything printed correctly.
Mm,
So you kind of got to like try to recreate things and just do the best you can. Like it's never going to be perfect. Like we're still in a stage where Atmos is so new that most of the plugin companies don't have surround versions of their plugins. They can't control certain parts of it. So
mm,
until they figure that out, like all the developers and everything, we're kind of going to be in this weird stage where we can only do so much.
right, we have limited
But
control right now.
yeah, but in the next 5 years, don't be surprised if you're mixing an Atmos and not even making stereo records anymore.
So you think it's gonna become that big?
Yeah, not because there's anything wrong with stereo. Right here, my cat,
It's all good.
just freaking out in there. Um, Not because stereos are like outdated or anything. It's just the way that Dolby Atmos can hold down songs. That just means you can mix the song in a whole massive room with 30 speakers. It's going to sound amazing. But then what Dolby can do is they can fold the song down. So they take that 30 speaker array
Fold it down.
and then they push the soul. Yeah, they push the whole song down to two.
I was
So that's what you're hearing on your iPhone.
That's what I was wondering about because like if I listen to say a Dolby Atmos mix on my phone, it folds it, right? Or
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I was gonna
Yep.
say because but then you plug in the headphones and it goes right back into Atmos mode, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I was wondering that about those because that's why I was because I've seen so many times where people are doing their stereo mix with one person, immersive mix with another, and that's why I was wondering like if they just send you the printed effects and stuff so that way you don't have to do the full mix from scratch in Atmos from the start. Because
Mhm.
I feel like wouldn't this is the thing that kind of like threw me off was the reverbs and stuff. Like reverb has to be crazy to control in Atmos because you have so much more room to actually fill with the reverb.
Mhm.
Can you reverb like above and below and stuff, or is it still just kind of a whole atmospheric surround you?
Yeah, you can put it anywhere. Like you could do reverb just coming out of one corner of the room for one instance of
That's cool.
um so there's so much that we haven't unpacked yet with what is possible just because like the tools aren't really there yet.
That's it's
But this is how people felt when stereo came out, this is
100%.
exactly how people when I went from mono to stereo.
I was just about to say that. I was like, bro, this is how probably how they felt back in the 40s and 30s when they're like, oh, we got mono. I'm like,
Yeah.
we need two of these guys. And it's like,
Yeah, because back then they would just pan like the whole drum set, they would pan like to the left side of the room.
left, and then
And then when you hear it now, you're like, why?
exactly because they're
Which is exactly how we're gonna feel in like 10 years.
yep, 100%. That's so funny. Um, now you've worked with all kinds of artists. Is there a personality type that makes your job way easier?
I mean, just as long as they're cool. Definitely don't really like working with people that like are super critical about themselves and about the process. Like
I was gonna
a lot of the times it's
harder.
not that serious.
Question better. What makes the job harder for you then? So yeah, that'll be easier for you to answer.
Most of the time it's if an artist just can't be okay with something that ultimately nobody else is gonna notice. Like I find this when I'm getting into revisions with artists. Like eventually, we just start doing revisions for us, and I'm like, I don't really agree with that style. Like I don't think there's we're just kind of wasting a lot of time and effort when the song is already sounding good.
I'm 100% with you on that because and a lot of times, not that throw shade or anything, it's usually the DIY artists that I feel like are the ones that try to micromanage everything we do as an engineer. Where the people who've never
Mhm,
sat in our seats, they're like, I don't know what you're doing. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm gonna sit back and just watch you make the magic. You know what I mean? And
mhm.
the DIY people, they're like, no, no, no. I want you to take the 200 hertz and I want you to cut it 5 decibels for me. It's like, that's not where I'm hearing the problem frequency, but and so that's why I feel like with engineers like us who actually really give people a good sound rather than just giving people a compressed equalized mix, you are a sound creator. You are not a person where like every mix you have sounds the same. I can listen to so many different songs from you where one might have crazy reverb tricks that you do. I love your reverb tricks. Like if you guys think I'm good with delays and reverbs, this man is like beyond good. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like he is amazing with the reverbs and stuff. Like, I'm sitting there sometimes trying to figure out like what reverb did he use and how did he get that to do that and how's like the tones you get out of them sometimes, man. Like so, speak about
Thanks,
that with
man.
us. Like
Appreciate it.
how do you go from having that how do you separate the technical from the creative to really set that higher standard of your sound for your clients?
I think it's all about fundamentals. Um, if you have a solid foundation of like what you know works, it doesn't really matter what tool it is that you're using.
Mm.
So that's really all I would say is just practice your fundamentals, make sure that your foundation is solid, and from there, there's no rules. Like nobody's gonna be like, don't use that reverb because of this. And if they're like that, then they're probably not good for you because they're not gonna be creative enough to push the limits.
Facts. And that's what I always try to tell people because I get, as an engineer, we get these questions. What plugin do you use for this? What plugins do you use for this? And it's like, it's more the technique that I'm doing than the actual plugin because I could take any other plugin that is a reverb or a compressor or whatever. If I'm doing compression techniques with it, I can do it with any compressor.
Mhm.
I definitely think that's a huge gem. So all of you guys listening, please make sure you go back and clip that or whatever because that is huge. It's a small answer, but it's huge. Listen to that answer over and over and over. The fundamentals are the most important because once you learn those and you know what not to do wrong, you can get ultimately creative beyond there. So I love that, man. Um, all right, so you're in a session and the artist keeps asking for ridiculous changes. How do you balance keeping the client happy while protecting the mix? So kind of like what we were just talking about a little bit right there. If the person keeps saying, "Hey, bro, like take this vocal and move it over 2 milliseconds," I feel like it's late. I feel like the delivery of it's late, and they tell you,
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like not the right person for those situations because I'm very vocal when it comes to that stuff. I'm just like, hey, like we could do it.
but it's
Do you hear it? I don't.
right?
And I sit here and listen to music in front of these speakers all day, every day, and I'm not really hearing the difference. I was like, we'll do it, but just know that this is for you.
Yeah, exactly. 100%, man. I agree with
Not that I'm trying to be mean. I know that I'm probably the only person that's going to be like 100% with them. And I think it honestly speaks a lot of volume to the artist when you're more direct like that because they don't typically believe that you're 100% honest with them because they're paying you for a service.
you. Hmm.
But what they don't realize sometimes is you're paying me for a service, but I'm also like, I'm not going to be unhappy because you're paying me. I'll go find another artist that will work with me just fine. And, you know,
See, guys, you can't take your engineers for granted because listen, we love to help you, but at the same time, if you're too difficult, there's other artists in the world, and we're not going to waste our time. Like, creating is supposed to be fun, collaborative, and you're supposed to feel a vibe with each other. It's not supposed to feel like we're combating with ideas or opinions at any point. And I agree with you 100%, bro. There's so many artists that I've worked with where I get in the studio with them, and they're like, I'm telling them, hey, bro, do that again. That delivery was, you're not really giving me the energy. I'm not feeling it, right? And I always tell artists,
mhm,
like, I'm not judging you as an engineer on the technical level of nothing. I'm not even judging you. I'm listening as the first listener that's going to hear out of the speakers for the first time ever. So If I'm telling you, hey, bro, as a listener, as a fan, I'm listening to your music and I'm not getting the energy you're trying to portray. We need more energy. Or I'm not getting the emotion that you're trying to portray. We need this emotion better, right? Some people, they'll be like, yeah, well, no, I mean to do it like that. But other people are like, wow, like I've never had an engineer tell me that, or like they'll say it's a very rare thing. And I think that's
Mhm.
such a huge thing for us engineers to be able to speak up and really have the confidence to say what something is, whether something is like either fitting or not. And sometimes we have to step back and say, okay, let me try this in whatever creative range sometimes. And sometimes we are wrong. Sometimes it's like, oh, that creative idea worked and it went against everything that I thought was not going to work. But the main part is we need to be happy with what we give back to the client because it's going on our credits, it's going on our catalog. And sadly, if we don't like it, we might not add it to our catalog. It's not our priority to do that. And I know you probably have a few of those songs for sure.
Yeah, there's no way you can get around those.
Yeah, no.
You're always gonna have those. You're like, it is what it is, man. You're gonna have a long career, and your career is gonna be way longer than any artist that you work with. So,
And that is
you know,
artists
something to keep in mind.
around for sure. So in your opinion, what's the biggest mistake new engineers make that instantly sound them like makes their sound like amateur, or the recordings even sound amateur?
Hmm. I don't know. For me, it's all like the vocal pops and clicks and like the little like mouth noises, not cleaning up breaths, not putting fades where there should be little fades to not get those clicks and stuff. Yeah, noise. Yeah, all that stuff. Like it's not that like you listen to Drake's album, there's all that in there too. But for me, it's just kind of like a telltale sign, like you know, nobody was paying attention to this like that.
Right. Mine is personally clipping vocals, like super clipped out vocals that
Oh yeah,
unless they're like maybe an ad lib or something, because you can throw like distortion on those and they're in the background. But like a lead vocal that's super clipped out, I'm like, what was this person listening through? Like, I don't even know sometimes. Um,
thank God for Isotope Deep Clip.
oh my god, bro, that thing's a lifesaver.
Yeah,
Lifesaver, I tell you. All right, so I'm gonna do a quick game with you. It's kind of like inspired from other chat shows, but I want to do a quick game. So, what is a plugin or piece of gear that's completely overrated?
it's overrated.
Yep.
Probably the Waves SSL channel strip.
Waves SSL channel strip. Uh,
Sorry.
I'm gonna love these answers.
There's better ones, that's all I'm saying.
A genie gives you a power to fix one annoying trend in modern music. What are you getting rid of?
Probably the rate in which people are dropping music.
Dude, I love it. Because the next thing I said, that's so funny.
Someone said, wait a minute, I use that channel strip.
He said, oh wait, that's Apollo. He always uses that shit, bro.
I'm sorry, man. It's not bad.
Get a
It's
new
it's
one.
not. It's just it's a little overrated compared to some of the other ones.
Definitely, I definitely agree on that. Music in 20. It's so funny that you just said that to me because literally my next question to you was music in 2025 is moving so fast. Over 100,000 songs are dropping daily. Do you think more artists would have more successful songs if they're worried about quality and not quantity?
No, not necessarily like quality. I think it's just more of like a lot of artists will make so many songs and they don't have enough time to like
Mm,
make that one their baby.
right. I agree with that.
So like you have to think of it like you got like a house with 10 kids and you only got $1,000.
Mm.
That $1,000 ain't gonna go.
You guys hear that right
If
there?
you only got one kid,
Yeah,
it's gonna go a lot further.
a lot further for sure. That I love that answer. Love that. All right, so this is the rapid fire round, and then I got one more or two more questions, quick for you to close it up, and then we'll jump into the chat. So rapid fire round, 10 seconds to answer each one. All right. So, favorite vocal chain,
You got vocal chain,
including microphone.
like recording.
Yeah, recording.
Oh, the ELM 251 into probably 1073, and then tie between the LA2A and the CL1B. Depends.
Okay. Worst session snack anyone has ever brought in?
Ooh, worst session snack. Adderall?
Or Percocets. One of the two. All right. UAD or Plug-in Alliance? One has to go.
I'm Plug-in Alliance.
Let's go. Let's see. Slate or Fab Filter? Wait, so you're saying UAD has to go or Plug-in Alliance has to go?
No, UAD got to go.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yes. Let's go. Slate or Fab Filter?
Slate got to go.
Slate got to go. Oh. Sony 800 or U87 on a rapper?
Depends on the genre of rap.
Melodic rapper will do.
No, Sony.
Sony, okay.
Keeping the Sony.
251 or C800 on a singer?
251.
Ooh, okay. And best cheap mic for vocals under $500, or let's say
under 500.
We'll say 800 because I know that's 500 is kind of hard.
Probably the Sony C100 or that Circle Audio 251 that just came out. Heard a lot of good things about that.
Yes, I've heard a lot of great things about that one. All right, so our final questions, man. Two quick ones. You're Grammy-nominated, Billboard #1, and multi-platinum. So what's next? What's the dream accomplishment you still want to achieve, bro? Like, what is the mountaintop for Skyler, bro?
Hopefully, I still get the Grammy win. So I think it's probably that. I don't know if you guys can see, but my back on my phone has been this for a very, very long time since I started. And I refuse to change it until I get the W.
Manifesting. And I'm telling you, bro, I almost called the 20, 25 weeks or whatever, but
I thought I was going to get to change it this year.
I'm telling you, the Grammys are in your hands next year, I promise, bro. That I see it for you. Like, you are definitely on that list.
I got the case.
Bro, you got the fight, man. Listen, I gotta say, this man's swag with his logo is so fire. He used the distressor knob with the. Bro, can you show it to him real quick? Show him your logo on your phone. Bro, y'all gotta see that. And he has it as a popple too. That shit's fire. And he has, if you guys ever go on the Giphy thing, he has his own Giphy thing. I gotta still get on there. But all right, last one. If you can leave us one last gem to all the viewers, the artists, producers, and engineers that would help them in their journey today, what would that be?
Just stay consistent. Be true to yourself and understand that you got to pick up the phone. You should always be available.
Facts.
You know, even if you don't know how to do something, that doesn't mean you can't learn how to do it. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Hey, first of all, we're gonna take a little chat, couple chat questions for the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes, if that's cool with you, and then we'll call it a night. But I want to say thank you so much for joining us today and hanging out with us and filling this chat with a lot of gems and a lot of, telling your story, man, because it was great to hear it. It was great to hear your journey and how you got into this, and it's inspiring to be like even able to, associate with you, bro, because you're great. I can't lie. You are a pure goat. I'm giving you all the flowers right now for sure, man, because you deserve it.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. I can't wait to come out to Cali and hang out with you, bro, because we definitely got to hit some.
Oh, you got to come out to Hawaii.
Oh, you're in Hawaii now? You're staying in there?
Yeah, we're here till April.
Damn. Shit. My cousin's in Hawaii too. So I might have to make a trip out there. But that's
there you go.
From New York to Hawaii, that's a distance.
That's a trip.
Yeah. But we'll definitely have to set something up, man. And even if you come back to the States, you said until April?
Yeah, but then after that we'll be in Japan until August.
Damn, going back to Japan, huh?
Yeah.
That's super dope. I remember when you went there the first time. That's fire. You've been there what, once or twice?
Yeah, just once. My girl's sister lives there, so.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, we're gonna.
All right, so we got a couple questions in here real quick. If anybody has any questions, please shoot them in the chat, guys. I know you guys were asking questions throughout the whole thing, but we didn't get to answer any of those fully yet. He did answer a couple for you guys, but shoot the questions in the chat. I have one right now from Campos that says, "How is taking care of your mental, taking of your mental, physical, and emotional health a priority for you, and how does it translate into your craft professionally?"
Yeah, that's a good one. When I was working in the studios, kind of going back to that whole working 70 hours, not eating right, um, just not being in a good environment overall, it's something that can really affect your work. Um, Not that right now I'm not equally as busy. It's just a different type of busy because I've learned how to create little breaks for myself or create mental escapes for myself. I know, like, if I have a big mixing day ahead of me, I'll literally stop everything, watch a show for 20 minutes, and then I'm like, all right, I feel better. Let me get back into it. Like you got to find those little things for yourself.
That's a fact. That 20-minute little show break or game break or whatever, even if you step outside and walk around the block, that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
so helpful.
Get in the gym. Like go to the gym.
Facts. Um,
Wake up early.
Flex Q says, "What is it about the Neve 1073? Because I know every engineer, I love it, you love it, we all love it. What is it about it?"
Yeah, I think it's two things. I think it's the way that it was made, the ease of use.
Hmm.
Well, I guess three things, and also the availability. Usually, any studio you go to, they're going to probably have that something reliable. Um, if you're on tour with the artist, that becomes very important. Um, if you don't know about the circuitry, research Rupert Neve, who he was. His company now, they do great things now too. Um, but yeah, I think it's a lot of history and a lot of like comfortability with that particular piece of gear.
Definitely. And honestly, me personally, bro, I don't know about you, but like I hate using any other preamp EQ that has notches besides that one. Like that one has, you can only move it to certain frequencies, but then the
Hmm.
gain is actually not notches. That's the one thing I love about it is the gain isn't notches because usually if they have notches on the frequencies, they have notches on the gain, and that is annoying. So I love the fact that I can easily smoothen out a vocal or something with that EQ so much better than like say like a even a API or something like that. Besides SSL, because I know you're used to SSL boards. You were spoiled and you had SSL boards all around you, even at Grand Bay. And so you went from Grand
Hmm.
Bay to, or no, you went from Clear Track to Grand Bay in Tampa.
Yeah, so I was working with an engineer there, and we built Grand Bay in 2018, I think.
Oh,
Or no, it was sorry, 2016 or 17.
that was
Uh,
you guys had the blue speakers in the wall, right? That was the first Grand Bay.
yeah, yeah, that was the first build. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. So we got a couple more questions real quick. Let me see. Apollo, I'm dead ass gonna ban you if you ask one more dumb question. Sorry, Apollo's a troll sometimes. Are you hybrid,
No, I'm here for it.
or analog? What do you prefer?
I am totally in the box. Not going back.
Ooh, not going back to analog at all?
Nah, I can't do it.
The recalls and stuff like that is
It's
a pain in
just,
the ass, huh?
yeah, it's not even just that. It's just like plugins are so good now. It's like really hard to justify. It kind of goes back to what I was saying with the artists. Like, are we doing it for us, or are we doing it for like people that are actually going to hear the song?
I respect that. Uh Tadacy TV says, "What is your go-to two-track instrumental chain? Like, how do you usually control your two-track?"
I have been liking the Orion plugin for two tracks. Actually, you just can't turn the first. I forget what it's called, but the first little button you can click on the left,
Hmm.
you just can't turn that on. Otherwise, it's going to get crazy. But all the other things, if you're trying to make a two track,
I still got to get that
dance a
one,
little
to
bit.
be honest with you.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, I still got to get that one. We're gonna get that one soon. Max Prodigy says, "At what point did you feel your workflow became effortless to the point where you can overcome all the challenges that being an engineer entails?"
Sorry, one more time.
He said, "At what point did you feel your workflow became effortless to the point you can overcome all challenges that become being an engineer entails?"
That's a good question. I remember It was probably 2018, I feel. It was when Lil Baby was, like, super popular. I just remember, like, I would get in such a comfortable mode, and then I would, like, listen to my mixes compared to what they were doing at the time, and I was like, "These are the exact same. I can do anything."
Yep.
That's how I felt, you know what I mean?
Now, guys, he's not talking about delusionally telling himself that they sound the same. He's talking about in a good studio, he's literally listening to it back to back and going, "Oh no, they sound exactly the same." Now, that definitely will tell you I'm ready, because I'll tell you, there's been times where I've been even, we're all hard on ourselves. If you're really trying to achieve far in this career, you're going to be hard on yourself. And
You have to be.
100%. And so for me, like, I'm so hard on myself. Sometimes when I do a mix, I'm like, if somebody listens to it, like, bro, that is great. I'm like, really? Like, I'm kind of blown away by people's responses still. But then when I listen to an industry mix and I listen to my mix and I'm like, wait, my mix was actually a little bit better or even just exactly the same. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this for sure. Love that. Love that, man. Let me see. Where we got? It just skipped a couple. Okay, of your mixes, which is your favorite that he would listen to and learn from? Oh, that we should listen to and sorry, my bad, I misread that. Out of all your mixes, which is your favorite that people should listen to and learn from?
That's a good question. Man, that's tough. I think because, like, there's so many different, like, genres and everything, I think, there's, like, a deep cut one. It'll let me comment on YouTube right here, right? Like, I could send
Yeah, I believe so.
a song.
Yeah, you could type right on it. And I'll read you the next question real quick. Alexander D'Amato, yo Sky, it's Lex. What's your favorite monitors to mix on? Your favorite headphone or your headphones?
What's up, man? What's up, Lex? Hope you've been good, man. My favorite headphones.
What's your favorite monitors to mix on?
Boom.
Yeah,
It is
it says like what's
mix on these.
to mix on your favorite or your, I'm guessing he's saying your favorite or your favorite headphones.
Oh yeah, I mean, favorite headphones. These AirPod Max. I just have the cable that plugs into the aux. Um, I've done a lot of mixes just on these, traveling, and comes out great. My favorite monitors right now, I've been using the Barefoot O3s, those new one that just came out,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been really really impressed with those because I use them with the IK Multimedia Arc system, so it kind of tunes them to the room that I'm in, and I've had no issues since I got the Arc thing and tuned them with that. The revisions are like minuscule.
That's crazy. That's super dope. All right, we got one more or a couple more questions. Let me see. Analog is expensive. People. Okay, let me see. Dynasty TV says, and you usually do the effects on the beat before you work, before you would EQ the vocals into the beat, or do you process the beat before you start processing the vocals?
That's a good question.
For the 2 track.
Yeah, for the 2 track, it's like a ongoing back and forth thing that just kinda happens as I start to do things in the mix, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll usually put the 2 track where like, I'll just solo the 2 track, get it to where I feel like, "Okay, this is, like, hitting the right way," and then I'll start to bring in the vocal, and I'll usually bring in the vocal dry,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't get tricked by effects and things like that. Um, so when I do that, I get a good idea of, like, how's the vocal hitting with the snare, which is a pretty traditional technique. But what I found a lot lately with 2 tracks is most of the issue is in the sides of the low mids. So if you just take a few, put it in the side mid side mode, and just take the sides out of like 5 to 800 ish area, you're gonna get rid of like most of the mud that's gonna let that vocal come through, and then your vocal doesn't sound thin.
Mm-hmm. I've actually, if a lot of you guys, if you watch my live, you'll see me do that often. And sometimes what I'll do too is like if there's certain instruments that are like, for instance, the 808 is too prominent and there's no melodies poking out. What I'll do is I'll go from like maybe the 1,000 to 3,000 range, and I'll pull the sides up there because that's where a lot of the higher frequencies for the instruments are, and you can start hearing the melodies a little bit more in the mix, so it doesn't sound like it's just bass, vocals, and snare. You know, when I have just a 2 track. So definitely great advice with that, bro. Um, Let me see. There was another one that I loved right here. What would you Max the Prodigy says? What would you say is your favorite genre of music to mix and master?
It's a moving target for me
Mm,
because I think I've just done so much hip hop. Not that I like don't want to do it anymore. I'm just like I know how to do this, so it almost feels too sterile.
yep.
But now when I'm getting like a hyper pop song or like a EDM song or a country song, whatever, rock song, I'm like, okay, this is a challenge a little bit more.
Right. I love when I get a challenge and I'm like, oh wait, I actually have to think about how I'm gonna approach this rather than okay, I can just do this, I can do this, and I can do this, and I'm done. You know, like rap
Yeah,
mixes I
exactly.
can finish in an hour, hour and a half. You know, and give it off to the client. As long as I don't have a lot of beat track outs or like a ton of tracks. But if it's a typical
Hmm.
rap song, 8 vocals and maybe some beat track outs, uh, hour and a half, and I'm knocking it out, and then send it over to the client. But with you, I heard you mix in like 30 minutes full songs with track outs, rap songs.
I can. Yeah,
How
yeah.
do you even go through your process of now? Does that like really entail like you're going in and like tuning a vocal every here and there, or you like just kind of like light compression on a couple things, not really trying to change the tone of things of like the instruments at all, and just kind of giving that the balance and then working on the vocals?
No, I mean, I think that those situations are usually when I'm like recording the song
Mm,
because I have so much more control over like how things are done. So as I'm recording, I'm already cleaning up all the breaths. I'm already like on the fly, taking out all the stuff that doesn't need to be there, putting the fades where they need to be, making sure there's no dead air. I'm doing beat drops while the artist is recording.
right.
Like I'm doing all those things. So it's all just about go back to it, the foundation, right? If you have a solid foundation, it makes everything else easier. That's why people use analog so long because it gives you a better starting point.
Mm,
So anything I can do to get a better starting point, whether it be inside the template, whether it be inside of just the recording process of how the artist is comfortable to record, that's what I'm aiming for.
that's super dope. Thank you for answering that, bro. And to somebody goes, Apple's sponsored by him. And I was
No, I wish. I mean, I got the Apple playlists and stuff like that, but no, they need to send me a pair of these for how many times I put them on. It's not even about the Apple part. It really is just about you need to stay in headphones that you're always listening to music on and that you know well, because that's way more important than the brand. Like the brand can be whatever, but if you, bro, I went when I was in Japan last time. I bought a pair of like $1 headphones from the dollar store there, and I'll use those sometimes
really
just because I've listened to them
a
to
hundred.
try to get what that's going to sound like, and if I know it sounds good there, I can trust it's going to sound good in better head.
So ready? I had I have it put away right now because I teamed up with my friend while I'm here in Syracuse. But for my home studio, instead of actually buying an Avantone mix cube, I found these Walmart cubes that were like literally the size of a mix cube, and
Hmm.
they have like a little subwoofer with them. So I turned that sub on just enough to be like the mix cube would be. And bro, I'm telling you right now, those are the like I've always watched engineers say like, oh yeah, I keep a crappy radio in the studio, I keep consumer speakers in the studio, and I always was like, okay, I'm gonna have one. And eventually, when I did that, and I started realizing I'm jumping back and forth between these, and I'm checking, like bro, my mixes just doing them on those crappy little speakers would elevate every time, and I'm like, this is so crazy. I could start a mix on those and then jump them over to the big speakers, and I'd be like, wow, that actually sounds really good. So guys,
Yep.
don't overthink your setups. Learn your setup. That's the most important part. Listen to a lot of music in it. Get to know your room, your space, your headphones, whatever you're using. Get to know them a lot. Pay attention to the characteristics. We got like 2 more questions
And
to take real quick.
real quick, I would say uh, if you have opportunities to go to some of these bigger rooms, go there and study what it is to feel that room.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Like you need to know what you did in that room that then is going to translate to what you're doing with speakers. Because there's a reason those rooms exist. There's a reason that they cost what they cost to go into. Um, not saying you can't do it from home. I'm just saying you need to like learn what that sounds like and
Yep.
move accordingly.
Uh, that is a great gem right there because I definitely even right now I notice a huge difference from like I had some panels up in my house studio and this studio that I'm in right now, we had it professionally tuned for this room and all this stuff. So we had the monitors tuned in the room by somebody who that's his profession, and so the the response that I'm hearing in this room from the stereo imaging, from the actual like frequencies that I'm hearing, um, I noticed just like you said, like you go out of the room and it's like, oh wait, I can listen to this in the car and I might need to do one or two revisions or even none. But when you're in another room and you don't know what this good room sounds like, you're gonna just be making kind of blind choices that are still based on the room that you're in. So that is a great gem to point out. Thank you for adding that, bro. Um, now they I forgot the Apple thing. I forgot to bring that up. Now that they're talking about Apple real quick, can you explain to them what the Apple Masters Certified Masters is real quick because that's something not a lot of people talk about.
Yeah, it's just a list of like engineers that or studios that Apple recognizes to deliver masters that don't clip. That's really all it is.
Okay, so that's all it really means is just masters that don't clip at all.
Yep.
Because I was gonna say there are a lot of masters I've seen from industry people, and it's like clearly in the red the whole time, and I'm like, how? Well, like it just doesn't make sense to me sometimes. But I've always been a fan of your masters because they're very clean, and don't see them hitting red like that. Like I always wasn't sure if it was the summing from the SSL, and what else did you guys have at Grand Bay that was doing the summing? Was there something else?
Um, I was just using the board for a little while, but then I don't know, probably the last like 2 years I was there, I just kind of stopped using analog altogether because it was
Wow.
just too difficult to like be delivering all the things I was needing to deliver in a time that was reasonable.
That's that's crazy. See, I don't know. I feel like I would never want to stop using it. All right, so let me see real quick. Max has got a lot of questions, but what genres
My
do you
cat is going crazy.
yeah? What genres do you feel are the most challenging to mix? Quay Mills.
The most challenging,
Yeah, Quay Mills.
I don't really find genres are hard to mix. I think it really just depends on like the artist
Mm. I think
because like there will be a certain genre. Yeah, bad recording is
that's the
definitely
genre.
hard to.
Bad recordings,
Yeah,
bad productions, things with bad productions. You know what I'm saying? Like where the production
once
doesn't
you get to
fit
the
the song.
yeah, once you get to the point where like you know how to mix, I think it's less about genres and more about people and more about situations. Like that's why I try not to judge too hard on other mixes because you just never know what the situation was that this person was in. You
Hmm.
don't know what they were working with. You don't know what the time frame was. Like
Right.
you just can't really,
That's the
you never know.
gotta always think about others, man. You can't think that everything's always got to be perfect, guys. Nobody not everybody gets to sit in a perfect room and mix and get like, 8
It's never going to be perfect.
song, you know. Everything changes. So, let me see. I know I got a couple more to go through and then we're going to call it a night on this cuz I know Skyler's probably getting tired, man. So, I like you Max says I like using the G bus compressor, but I'm sure there are better ones out there. What would you recommend?
For bus
For
compression,
yeah, like for
I
for your mix bus,
honestly,
like how do you for your mix bus, what is the best mix bus compressor would you say? I'll sum that up into that.
the best one out right now is Fuel by Music Hack.
Wait, what is it?
It's called Fuel.
Fuel? I've
Yeah,
not heard of that one. I'm gonna have to check that out. You gotta send me that link later.
yeah, that is, get ready.
All right. Millie wants to know. Quay Mills wants to know. What advice do you have for artists, like your personal do's and don'ts?
Uh, for artists, I think that right now you have to be comfortable with the fact that the art is about 10% of the process. Um, most of what it is to be an artist now is what it is to be a content creator.
Mm.
Um, a lot of the successful ones, they're not shy about being in front of a camera, and they're not shy about creating content and having a unique style. So I think that's the thing that's going to really separate you and allow you to be successful in today's music industry is being unique and being in front of a camera and doing as much content as possible. If you don't know where to start, I always tell artists, like, go and look at your favorite artist, try to replicate whatever they did on their last reel, post something similar, just try to
Campos,
talk about the cat. But yeah, that's if I were an artist, that's the way that you have to approach the game right now, because it's just a little bit less about the art. I mean, there's so many talented artists that don't get enough shine because they just won't do the content.
Right. I got that question right there was a great one because, or answer I meant was great because a lot of people are lazy with that, and they think just putting the music out today is just enough, and there's too many people. I just said it earlier, guys. We got 100,000 songs being dropped daily or more. That's a number that I found 2 months ago, so I can't imagine what it is today. So you're gonna stand out in a crowd of that many people by doing the creative things, by being actually a person that's putting yourself out there in front of people. So love that advice, bro. I have 2 quick questions and then we're gonna call it a night. So here's one. The quickest one is probably gonna be quick for you to answer. How do you achieve summing in the box? Is that even possible? Besides like the what's it called? What is it? The mic. It has like the mic.
NSL thing.
Yeah, NSL summing mixer. Like, what do you think about that? How do you feel about those?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really comes down to master rather than like trying to study. Like what you're putting on your master on your mix bus is ultimately going to be the sauce that you're looking for. Like if you get that fuel plug-in, you'll see what I mean.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try it out. Definitely gonna have to try that one out.
It's a really good one.
All right.
That's
And so, would you run that through another? Would you basically just run it through another bus, or would you sum all of your channels to that one thing and then send that output to the mix bus? How would you do a summing, as a in the box summing?
yeah. If I were to do it in the box, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I would really do that. To be
Yeah, I
honest, like
wouldn't even think to do it in the box summing.
I feel like you're gonna end up creating like a digital hiss for yourself. I mean, there's ways to do it. Like Jason Joshua has a way that he used to do it, but even he replaced that with the God particle. So
Right.
yeah, the God particle's great. Yeah, right here.
Yeah. All right. So we have this last question, which is, what advice would you give from Alexander D'Amato? What advice would you give to an engineer that wants to branch out more, not get stuck in the studio, and to be able to get booked more by industry clients, labels, etc.? It's a great question for a lot of people because that's something a lot of people wonder.
I know I get that question a lot, and honestly, it's really just a relationship game at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a lot of things that trips the engineers is trying to price themselves too high right away. So, maybe that's a good point to bring up is like don't price yourself up or don't like overprice yourself where you can't then sell yourself to a good opportunity
Mm.
because they're not going to want to pay you they're not going to want to pay you $500-$600 for a mix when they can get this guy who has all these accolades for that same price, right? So just kind of be realistic with as far as the money and understand that, at least in my opinion, steady work and consistent clientele is more important than trying to get as much as I possibly can out of an artist every single time.
Whew, that was a gem right there, guys. Relationships, and make sure your pricing is matching what you're really aiming for. Like, not just trying to be like, oh, well, I'm an engineer and I deserve 2,000 a mix. Well, good luck, because a lot of people aren't even getting $2,000 a mix right now. I mean, it's hard for people right now to really get even, what would you say, like $1,000 for a mix, as even, because there's some top, I've seen top industry people talk.
Yeah, that's going to be hard too.
Yeah, like I've seen people really talking about like they get $1,000, $1,500 for a mix nowadays when it used to be like 20 grand that they would get for a song, and it's like Yeah, that's not happening anymore. The industry's changing, and there's a lot more of us. There's a ton more of us that are coming out. And guys, there's some 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds that are beasts at what they're doing. So you got to keep up with the times and also price yourself fairly. It's not like that would,
Mhm.
I love that. You said try not to get the most out of the artist every time, because that will keep them coming back. That's why I always keep my prices reasonable. 100%, bro. Well, man, I am so excited and thankful that you joined us today, and I appreciate you so much. I know the chat and community appreciate you a lot, bro. Do you have any final words for anybody for the chat and everything before we hop off here?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, and thanks everybody for all the questions and making me laugh and making this a fun time. Definitely got to do it again.
Hell yeah, man.
If you want to message me or anything, I'm on Instagram, Skyler the Engineer. Yeah.
Hey, clap it up, everybody in the chat right now for Skyler, man. We appreciate you so much, bro. And to more Grammy nominations and hopefully the win next year, bro. I know you're gonna be.
We'll circle back on the win.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna be. You're gonna be spinning the block on that one. Just.
Yeah,
Sure. But I'll be seeing you at the top soon. We'll be competing for chart numbers soon.
absolutely, man.
All right, bro. All love, man, and everybody else. Thank you for joining us, guys. Until next time, we'll catch you later.